What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 3 tips on how to be a powerful networker and share with you how these 3 strategies took me from rock bottom literally to the point where I was in a situation where I got broken up with, I was unfulfilled, I was totally broke, went almost $30,000 in debt, literally $30,000 in debt, maxing out credit cards. My first year doing the podcast about 2.5 years ago, trying to interview legends, and how I bumped into the walls, figuring it out when I had no audience, no viewership, and I was probably even in a worse situation than you when starting a podcast and ended up interviewing legends. So I'm gonna be getting into it today. And again, if you're new to the channel, I wanna thank you for being here. My name's Omar Elattar, host and creator of the Passionate Few podcast. And if you guys enjoy this video or any of the other interviews that we have on the channel, thank you so much. But if it's your first time, make sure to smash that subscribe button if you enjoy this value here. So with no further ado, here we go, my absolute top 3 tips to network with almost anybody. These are powerful tips. And if you don't believe me or you wanna know what credibility do you have, Omar, check out my page. I literally have had the great fortune now of sitting down with legends across industry to the tunes of multi-billions, and ended up having them become friends and mentors of mine without ever paying a penny. So these strategies work. They've worked for me, they've worked for the clients that I coach, and I know they'll work for you if you go and apply them no matter where in the world you live. Even if you have no clue where to start, you have no reference of technology, and you're in a situation where maybe you just want to start a podcast, but you haven't because you're kind of intimidated by starting, or maybe it's a New Year's resolution for you, right? Maybe 2019, you're like, you know what, this is it, F it, this is the year I'm going all in. Whatever it is for you, I want to commend you for actually sitting down, watching this video, and even letting that seed marinate in your mind. But I want to encourage you to take action and let you know that these 3 tips, if you write them down, I promise you, they will radically help you get in touch with almost anybody for your podcast, show, and even in business or life. So whether you have a show, you're starting one, or maybe you just want to know how to network, you'll enjoy this, you can share it with other people. And again, if you love it, make sure to subscribe. And if you want coaching after it, you can check out the description below and apply there. But anyways, here we go. These are my top 3 powerful tips to being an effective networker, okay? So number one is gonna be to take imperfect action. Take imperfect action. Now, what I mean by that is that once you locate a target, right, a subject, somebody you wanna get in touch with, you have to be willing to pull the trigger before you are ready. Now, what I mean by that is you have to send the email. You gotta send the DM. And again, I'm here in beautiful Laguna Beach. Caught a little view of it, and I just wanted to give you a full 360 here. And I love this spot. But anyways, ADD aside, number 1 is you have to take imperfect action. And like I said, what I mean by that is you have to be willing to send DMs, private messages, direct messages through social media, Instagram, Facebook, and even email. Even if you think you're crazy, they're gonna think you're nuts. You have to build that ability to be trigger happy in a little bit. In a sense, you have to be willing to pull the trigger, click send, publish, whatever it is, you gotta be willing to send it, because without you building the muscle of like, all right, let's just do it, you're gonna get stuck in perfection paralysis. And remember, an imperfect follow-through action is way better than a perfect thought that's not followed through, okay? So number 1 is you're gonna have to take imperfect action when you're trying to build a network. And what I mean by that, again, as a takeaway point, if you're jotting this down, is to send that email, send that DM. And a good way that I did it initially was I would do a little exercise, and I would encourage you to find your own exercise or do this one exactly. And that is to write down right now, literally as we watch this right now, write down 3 people, just 3, that would blow your mind if you can get in touch with, even if you could just get a response. Maybe this is for a podcast inquiry, maybe this is for a business inquiry, maybe it's a potential sale you'd like to have. Whatever it is, I would encourage you to take imperfect action and just send the best email that you think you can, as thoroughly and efficient as possible. Even if they don't respond, even if they think you're nuts, even if you don't have a large following, even if as you watch this you have no social media or very few followers, or you don't know technology, or you have all these creative excuses, probably similar to the creative excuses of why you haven't started your podcast yet, even though you want to. And it's a theme I've seen again and again, not just in myself, the months I lagged before I started my own show, but even in the clients that I coach, they lag so much, they get started with me, and then boom, within a week we're on iTunes, within a month or less, they got their first couple of big guests, and then they're killing it. Teach them how to build affiliate revenue, teach them how to make money doing it, and it becomes a cyclical momentum. But it all starts by taking imperfect action. okay? So I wanna encourage you guys to do that. My number two tip to being an effective and powerful networker, okay, is to be a person of value. Be a person of value. Now you might ask me, Omar, what do you mean by that? What do you mean be a person of value? How's that gonna help me network? Well, let me ask you something. Would you agree that most quality people, certainly high quality people, high status individuals, or the type of people that you wanna get in touch with, wouldn't they already naturally have an inclination to wanna connect with more awesome people, to wanna do business with awesome people, to wanna be on podcasts that are hosted by awesome people? Well, if you're being honest with yourself, I think you'll admit that the answer is absolutely yes. And so you wanna be that person. A lot of times in life, it's not so much about what you're going out and getting, it's about who you're attracting by the person that you are being or the person that you are becoming. So that's my number two tip to being an effective and powerful networker, is to be a person of value. Because if you're doing number one and you're taking imperfect action to reach out to these people, in spite of your anxieties or your worries, which we all have, even they have it, believe it or not, the person that you're worried about getting in touch with, I guarantee you, they have their own anxieties about getting in touch with somebody else. And so it goes on and on and on. And so you gotta be willing to take action in spite of the fear. And I would encourage you to jot this down. This is actually a quote that transformed my entire perception of fear and anxiety, and it's by Dr. Susan Jeffers, who has a book actually that's named after the quote, and I want to encourage you to write it down, and that is to feel the fear and do it anyways. Feel the fear and do it anyways. And if you can cultivate that habit of feeling the fear and doing it anyways, you'll be able to get tremendous momentum. Even if you get no's, you'll build a, kind of like a tearing muscle, you'll build a resilience, you'll build a muscle of sending and getting feedback. And to be honest, it's much more exciting to get a no from somebody you want to network or get in touch with or get on your podcast than it is to get nothing by doing nothing. Trust me, it's not rocket science. It's just a matter of calculated effort. Now, how you present the messages or how you take the imperfect action or how you approach, that's a nuanced style, which I can do another video on. If you guys have any questions, you can comment in the description below. But I want to encourage you that if you do those two things alone, those little mindset shifts of taking imperfect action and being a person of value, whether it be value in terms of how you communicate, you're elegant, maybe in terms of what you offer them is something of value. Maybe you have the show and it's, the passionate few is something of value, right? People see that, they're like, oh, it's excited. That's exciting. And so if you can build something of meaning, something of value, then people will want to connect with you. People will want to be in touch with you. They'll want to do business with you. You don't have to have a trillion followers. My life is an example of that, for people to want to connect with you. Like I said, when I started interviewing people, I went $30,000 in debt. And now I have coaching programs, or, we have programs that are anywhere from, 10,000 to 50,000, where people pay me for the year to help them step by step and systematically walk them through the steps that have allowed me to do that. And now many of my clients are doing the same in their own life. And not only that, check this out. Grant Cardone and all these other legends that I've had the privilege of sitting down with and interviewing on the show and helping inspire the world with their story with, they charge upwards of 10, 20, even 30 or $50,000 for coaching sessions with them, whether it's 1 hour or a couple hours. And I've taught podcasters, whether on Skype or in person, how to get their time for absolutely free, and if they do it right, same way we've done, figure out how to monetize it and actually get paid to do these interviews, to get paid to spend time and interview legends. So I want to encourage you to remember that was all born out of me being just as in an imperfect a position as you are right now as you watch this, no matter where in the world you live. It really work. That's why I'm coming out here and filming this, because I know this stuff works and I know it'll work for you. And if you guys enjoy this value, again, make sure to subscribe. And if you want to check out our email list where we give out free value every week, you can sign up in the description below, drop your email there, and I drop tons more of other bits and little secrets on how to network effectively, whether it's podcasting, business, mindset, upcoming interviews, tons of cool giveaways and merch announcements and all sorts of cool stuff. So make sure to drop your email now. It takes like 30 seconds. I know you never do it. I personally don't like joining email lists if they're kind of lame, but ours is sick, and I know you'll love it. So make sure to drop your email in the description below. It'll be here. But yeah, so internalize these 2 points and remember them deeply, because if you can take imperfect action and be a person of value, people will want to connect with you. And that leads me to number 3. And don't worry guys, I'll do more videos on this. So comment below, let me know questions you guys have for me. I'm honored to serve you guys. And it's really my mission in life to do this. So thank you guys so much for enjoying so many of the videos, and make sure to like it and make sure to share it if it was of value. But here we go with number 3. Number 3. My number 3 tip to being a powerful networker. So here we go. Okay. Number 3 is to introduce yourself to new people and introduce others to new people often. Okay? So I know that's wordy, but the best way to remember number 3 is this. 3 words. Make intros often. Make intros often. Now what I mean by that is that if you can cultivate the habit of more often than not, you know, whether you meet somebody on the street or you're talking to an Uber driver, even if you're an introvert, to be honest with you, I identify as an introvert, you will develop a muscle of just being comfortable with people. And literally you'll be blown away at how many people, you know, I'll give you an example. You'll be blown away at how many people are so well connected to somebody you would dream of getting in touch with, they could just hand you the opportunity. I'll give you an example. One of my goals is to interview President Clinton and President Obama. And so time will tell if I'm crazy or there's a method to the madness here. But the other day I was at a cafe and I put that intention into the universe, and voila, lo and behold, I'm at a cafe. I see this awesome lady reading a book, and I ask her, what book is that? It looked like a personal development one. And fast forward, we start talking. Turns out she's a chef and has served as a chef and knows the inside teams of 5 U.S. presidents. 5 U.S. presidents. Now you might say, well, why would you do that? But believe it or not, that little habit of introing myself or casually asking a question, even though I'm an introvert, even though I'm just as insecure in certain social situations as you might be, just little nudges of questions like, oh, what book is that? Or hey, my name is this, or little stuff like that, even to the Uber driver, or even when you're out and about. If you can develop the habit of making intros often and let me add this, and introducing one person to another, you'll have much more power in being a part of the link of the chains of the world. And I know that kind of sounds like out there, but I'm telling you it's true. When I sit down and network and have the good fortune of connecting with multi-billion-dollar entrepreneurs at pretty high levels, one of the first questions they always ask one another, including myself, and now I've picked up the lingo by being around so many of them, is how can I be of value? Who could I introduce you to for your business? What's a new prospect? What's a new client? Who's a photographer or videographer that you might need in your business, Mr. Big or Mrs. Big Shot, that I might know? And believe it or not, if you can develop the habit of making intros and introducing yourself, you'll be in a flow, you'll be in a momentum of connecting with new people. So I know these 3 strategies will work for you. They've worked for me tremendously. And although they sound simple, I promise you they are powerful mental habits. And it's not big, complex things that make the difference. It's simple things that you're willing to do consistently. The simple idea that you're willing to act on that could change your life entirely. And I want to encourage you guys to watch this video again, take notes on it, subscribe, let me know if you guys love it. You can follow me on Instagram as well. But I want to leave you with this final thought, and that is this. And Jim Rohn said it best, who's one of the greatest personal development speakers ever, if you ask me, and was actually a mentor to Tony Robbins. But he says this quote, and I want to encourage you to write it down and let it seep into your subconscious. And that is, what's easy to do is also easy not to do. Okay? What's easy to do is also easy not to do. And the reason I say that is because you might be watching this video and go, okay, Omar, so you're saying your top 3 tips to networking and connecting and interviewing legends is really to just take imperfect action, be a person of value, and introduce yourself and introduce others to one another often, to make intros often. Really, these are your top 3 tips? And my answer, quite frankly and quite confidently, is yes. Hell yes. Because these strategies work. And if you don't believe me, check out my resume and tell me what you think works better. Because I know these strategies work. So again, I just want to hop on here and share with you my top 3 tips. Thank you for hanging on and enjoying it. If you guys hung on this long, freaking love you guys. And let me know what topics you guys want me to discuss. If you guys comment below, we'll actually shout you out and post your comment or your question, and I'll be answering it in the next video. So thank you guys for hopping on here. I'm in beautiful Laguna Beach, California, and I know these 3 strategies work for you. And if you want specifics or nuances, make sure to sign up for my email newsletter. Again, I always got to do the plug. You can check out all the cool stuff in the description below. And again, If you're interested in our coaching program, whether you want to work with one of our coaches, work with me directly, or have done for you services to finally get this badass podcast of yours up and running and know the exact DMs and templates to strategically write messages or cold responses to people to inquire about interviews or to network. Even if you have no experience and no following, or maybe you do and you're trying to get a leg up, we can serve you there as well. So make sure to join the newsletter, DM me on Instagram, apply for coaching, whatever it is, however we can serve you, we're here to be of value. And again, thank you for hopping on here. I'm Omar Elattar, host and creator of the Passionate Few podcast. Freaking love you guys, and I know you're gonna kill it with your podcast. If you haven't already started one, 2019 is your year. So before you start, keep these 3 points in mind and remember that you can get in touch with anybody. It's mostly limited beliefs that are holding you back, and nothing, I repeat, nothing can hold you back if you begin with the mindset to win. You take imperfect action with getting in touch with your dream guests. You become a person of value who gives value to others, and you can introduce yourself and introduce others at a more rapid pace. It all comes down to systems after all. And if you can build habitual systems, you'll be in a flow in no time. So I know these strategies will work because they work for me, and I know that they'll work for you. So guys, thanks for hopping on here. I'll see you guys next time. And until then, thank you for being one of the passionate few. It's Omar here, and I'm signing out.